It's cool. But isn't there something that you want?
The world has ever seen.
This is a world full of mystery and imminent danger. Hundreds of islands dot the vast ocean, making it an ideal playground for those pirates seeking the freedom to embark on adventures. 22 years ago, the Navy declared pirates as the enemies causing chaos on the seas, and the world government-controlled Navy claimed to protect ordinary citizens. In order to end the era of pirates, they would execute Gold Roger, a man who had successfully sailed the entire world's seas and earned the title of Pirate King. Before facing his execution, many people asked Roger where he had hidden all his treasure. He boldly declared that his wealth, fame, and power, all the earthly treasures he had acquired, were gathered in one place. So set sail across the seas to find it. Instead of restoring the world's balance from pirates, Roger's last words gave birth to a new era of pirates. And that's when the pursuit of the lost pirate treasure, One Piece, began. Next, we'll focus on a boy named Monkey D. Luffy. Today marks his first voyage as a new pirate. Besides seeking One Piece, Luffy has a great determination to become the Pirate King. He developed this resolve at a young age from a famous pirate named Shanks. About 10 years ago, Luffy became good friends with Shanks and all of his crewmates. In fact, Luffy was so eager to sail with them that he even dared to injure his own face to prove his courage. However, Shanks still refused because Luffy was too young. Luffy, visibly upset, went to Shanks' room and found an unlocked box. Inside the box, Luffy discovered a devil fruit that, when consumed, would grant him its power. Coincidentally, the fruit Luffy ate was the Gomu Gomu no Mi. As a result, Luffy's body became elastic and rubber-like. Just so you know, devil fruits come in various types and grant different powers. Okay, moving on to the other side, Shanks and his crew were confronted by a group of mountain bandits who were angry and destroyed some items in the bar because Shanks had run out of sake. Luffy, witnessing this, couldn't stand it. He felt that Shanks and his crew were being disrespected. When Luffy approached the mountain bandits, trying to stop them, he realized that his body had completely transformed into rubber. As a new pirate, Luffy's first plan was to find a crew. Specifically, he wanted to gather at least 10 people to help him achieve his dreams because, despite his determination, Luffy couldn't do it all alone. Additionally, Luffy couldn't swim, so he had to stay inside a barrel to avoid being swept away by the waves. Eventually, Luffy accidentally got rescued by the crew of the pirate ship Alvida, who were in the middle of a battle. That night, Luffy emerged from the barrel and happened to meet one of the crew members named Kobe. Here, Luffy introduced himself and revealed that he was a new pirate setting sail. But Kobe didn't believe him. He couldn't believe there were innocent pirates. Kobe thought all pirates were cruel and terrifying. Luffy argued that being a pirate meant being free to have fun, not being oppressed and ordered around like Kobe was. Kobe then admitted that, while serving on Alvida's ship, he had always been miserable and never experienced any enjoyment. Upon hearing this, Luffy suggested that he should escape the ship, sail the seas, and pursue his dream of finding One Piece. Coincidentally, tonight, Alvida and all her crew were asleep. Kobe escorted Luffy to sneak out, but their carelessness woke everyone up. Alvida, realizing that Kobe was with an unfamiliar person, assumed that Kobe was a traitor. She immediately took out her beloved club to attack both of them. Unfortunately, Luffy's rubbery body couldn't be harmed, even though it was hit several times. This only made Alvida even angrier, and she started smashing her own ship in frustration. Not far from their location, we're introduced to a pirate hunter named Zoro. Currently, he's receiving an offer from Mr. Seven to join a crime syndicate called Baroque Works, but Zoro is not interested and flatly refuses. This deeply offends Mr. Seven, and he plans to kill Zoro. Back to Luffy, who is now sailing north following Kobe's directions. He explains that his body can stretch like rubber because he ate a devil fruit. Kobe tells Luffy that he's always wanted to join the Navy, not become a pirate. Upon hearing this, Luffy has no intention of forcing Kobe to join his pirate crew. Instead, he will help Kobe reach the nearest Navy base. On the other hand, a beautiful woman named Nami appears and successfully deceives two pirates. She exploits their greed, using an empty chest to take their ship and then abandons them. After sailing aimlessly, Luffy and Kobe arrive at Shellstone, a small town that serves as a Navy base branch. In this town, Zoro, who is carrying Mr. Seven's body, appears, along with Nami, who is enjoying her sake. Suddenly, a child approaches Zoro, bringing him food. Initially, Zoro refuses, but when the child accidentally drops the food and is intentionally stepped on by someone else, Zoro changes his mind and eats it. This incident angers the child, who turns out to be the son of Admiral Navy named Helmeppo, a Navy member around Zoro. He starts a rebellion after seeing Helmeppo fall, but Zoro easily defeats them all, using this chaos to his advantage. Nami manages to rob one of the Navy soldiers, and together with Zoro, who intends to deliver Mr. Seven's head to Helmeppo's father, Captain Morgan, the commander of the Navy base. Zoro's arrival is not well received by Morgan, who will reward Zoro for the pirate's head he brought, but also punish him for attacking Navy members. Zoro has no choice but to accept the punishment, which is to be tied up and left in the scorching sun for 7 days, in exchange for the bounty on the pirate's head. Meanwhile, Luffy becomes intrigued by Zoro's abilities and discusses his greatness with Kobe. However, Kobe is more focused on observing Zoro's actions, seeing him protect a young child from the Navy, which the Navy should have done. From this, Luffy and Kobe begin to realize that not all Navy members are good. Luffy also plans to enter the Navy base to obtain a map leading to the Grand Line. In the morning, Helmeppo approached Zoro and warned him that his father would not just let him go. Shortly after Helmeppo left, Luffy emerged from a sewer. He found Zoro tied up and immediately asked, "Hey, you're really great at fighting. Would you like to join my pirate crew?" Zoro, surprised by the question, explained that he was a pirate hunter. But Luffy didn't care about Zoro's words and continued to invite him to join his crew. Luffy added that he believed Zoro had bigger dreams than just being a bounty hunter. Zoro fell silent, as if recalling something in his mind. Then he began to confess to Luffy that ever since he was a child, he had wanted to become the world's greatest swordsman. Luffy was deeply impressed upon hearing this big dream. He immediately untied Zoro and went back into the sewer. Meanwhile, outside the base, Nami, disguised as a Navy member, managed to sneak in and entered a room filled with books and scrolls. Nami's goal was also to find the Grand Line map from the Navy. However, her actions were soon discovered, and fortunately, Nami managed to create an alibi and gather information that the Grand Line map was in Captain Morgan's office. Shortly after that, another Navy member came out and recognized Nami as the woman who had robbed her clothes at the bar. Without hesitation, Nami knocked them down, along with Luffy, who had fallen. Luffy overheard their conversation and immediately began searching every room to find the Grand Line map, which was in Captain Morgan's office. It didn't take them long to find it, and their progress was halted when Captain Morgan himself confronted them. Once again, Nami's quick thinking allowed her to steal the key to Captain Morgan's office. All the Navy personnel guarding outside swarmed to attack them both. Despite the commotion, Luffy and Nami fought against the Navy. Meanwhile, Zoro, having finally acquired his 3 swords, decided to help and accepted Luffy's offer to join as the first member of his pirate crew. Not one to stay idle, Captain Morgan joined the fray to confront the three of them. He easily anticipated every swing of Zoro's sword, as well as Luffy's rubbery attacks. While Luffy's body could stretch like rubber, he would still be injured by Morgan's axe swings. Nami, on the other hand, was still trying her best to protect the vault from other Navy members. However, after they executed a combo attack, Morgan was defeated. Now, Luffy, Zoro, and Nami hurriedly fled from Shellstone. But before leaving, Helmeppo reappeared and was still determined to capture them. However, from behind, Koby managed to teach him a lesson and bid farewell to Luffy. Koby's ambition to join the Navy would start from this town, and perhaps, when he met Luffy again in the future, they would become enemies. In a different part of the sea, a Navy ship led by Garp received word that Captain Morgan's Grand Line map had been stolen by the Straw Hat-wearing pirates. This bad news prompted Garp to plan to pursue them. At the same time, a crew member from another pirate ship also reported the Straw Hat-wearing pirates' successful theft of the Grand Line map. The captain of that pirate crew happened to be Buggy, and he had set his sights on Luffy. Reflecting on his childhood, Luffy, with his now rubbery body, tried to train his newfound powers. Makinoshi, the barkeeper, explained that each devil fruit grants different abilities, and each person can only eat one. Moreover, devil fruits come with a high risk, as those who consume them become unable to swim in the sea. That's why Luffy couldn't swim. Despite having gained this power, Shanks still wouldn't invite Luffy to sail with him. Today marked his last day in the village, as he would be sailing for several months in search of One Piece. What's worse, he told Luffy that he wouldn't return to the village. Shortly after Shanks left to prepare for his journey, the mountain bandits returned to the bar. Luffy, still angry about the disrespect he received from them earlier, tried to fight back, but he ended up in danger himself. Just then, Shanks reappeared and said, "I can accept if you insult me, but never harm my friend." Taking advantage of the defeat of all his crew members, the leader of the mountain bandits took Luffy out to the open sea. Simultaneously, a sea monster appeared and capsized their boat. Luckily, Luffy, who couldn't do anything, was saved by Shanks, although Shanks had to sacrifice one of his own crew members who got caught by the sea monster. Luffy felt extremely guilty after seeing one of Shanks' crew members lose a limb to save him. But for Shanks, it was just an arm, so Luffy didn't need to worry. What mattered was that he was safe. Before departing, Shanks bid farewell to Luffy. Luffy had also realized, through various experiences, that Shanks was right. He wasn't ready to sail yet. But Luffy was determined to become a great pirate captain with an even greater crew than before. He wanted to become the greatest pirate in the world, find One Piece, and return Shanks' treasured straw hat when they met again. At this point, Luffy, Zoro, and Nami were still trying to open Captain Morgan's vault. As expected, they found a wanted poster and a rolled-up map of the Grand Line inside. Nami, with her navigation skills, explained that the ocean was divided into 4 endless seas: East Blue, North Blue, West Blue, and South Blue. A small landmass known as the Red Line divided and bordered these 4 seas. The Grand Line, on the other hand, was a horizontal ocean that filled these 4 seas. Besides being filled with various islands, it was also teeming with pirates, like them searching for One Piece. Suddenly, a red gas filled the ship, causing them to lose consciousness. But before Luffy passed out, he managed to swallow the Grand Line map and store it inside his stomach. Back in Silestone, Koby had officially become a Navy cadet. Garp had also received word that Helmeppo and Koby had tried to stop the pirates who stole the Grand Line map but had failed. However, Garp wasn't satisfied with just that. He began interrogating Koby alone, urging him to be honest. Here, Koby tried to explain that he had once been a prisoner of Alvida's pirate crew. Then a new pirate named Luffy had rescued him and allowed him to become a member of the Navy, fulfilling Koby's childhood dream. Koby's honesty impressed Garp, who agreed to let him join the Navy. He also invited Kobe to join him in hunting down Luffy. Garp also decided to take over all the Navy personnel from Captain Morgan's leadership, because during his tenure, Morgan had caused a lot of suffering for many people. After regaining consciousness, Luffy explained that they weren't captured by the Navy, but by another group of pirates trying to steal the Grand Line map from them. These pirates were led by Buggy, who had imprisoned all the townspeople, chaining them up and making them appear as if they were spectators at a circus. Buggy's goal was to obtain the Grand Line map so he could find One Piece and become the Pirate King. However, Luffy disagreed with Buggy and declared that he would be the one to become the Pirate King. This enraged Buggy, and since he couldn't find his Green Line map, he planned to execute the three of them. However, Nami managed to divert their attention and successfully escaped from the circus stage. She was shocked to discover that the town had been destroyed. Now, Buggy was going to interrogate Luffy alone while Zoro and Nami were locked up separately. Luffy's hands and feet were bound and stretched out. Then, Buggy threatened to cut off parts of Luffy's body if he didn't reveal the Grand Line map. But in the midst of the threat, Buggy's attention was drawn to Luffy's straw hat. He recognized it as belonging to another pirate named Shanks, who used to wear a similar hat. Buggy also claimed that he and Shanks had been friends on the same pirate ship when they were Luffy's age. However, their friendship had ended because Buggy felt betrayed. Of course, Luffy didn't believe this. After hearing Buggy's statement about Shanks betraying him, along with Buggy's threat to harm a child unless Luffy gave him the map, Luffy became angry. He easily freed himself and punched Buggy in the face. However, Buggy, who had eaten a devil fruit called the Barabara no Mi, was immune to attacks from sharp weapons and could split his body into separate pieces, which he could control. Meanwhile, Zoro managed to divert one of the pirates, who held a grudge against him, not to torture Zoro, but to save Mr. Seven, who turned out to be his brother. The pirate didn't realize that Nami was trying to unlock their cages. They had to hurry because Luffy was in danger. Buggy placed Luffy in a box filled with seawater. As a devil fruit eater, Luffy's entire body began to weaken, and he couldn't do anything. Fortunately, Nami and Zoro managed to break free and defeat the pirates. Then, they liberated Luffy with Nami's help. After being freed, Luffy accidentally regurgitated the Grand Line map from his stomach. Buggy quickly took the map and divided his body into small pieces to attack Zoro and Nami. Then, when Buggy was about to attack Luffy, he had a brilliant idea by placing each piece of Buggy's body into a chest. Luffy delivered the final blow by deflating the remaining part of Buggy's body. Afterward, before continuing their journey, Luffy, Nami, and Zoro helped free all the townspeople who had been held captive and informed them that Luffy's pirate crew was different from the others.